I'm going to use this opportunity to talk about the biggest downside to the DJI Action 5, and it's literally something I've never heard anybody on YouTube mention. Recently I did a video where I compared the GoPro to the DJI, and I used the GoPro Hero 12, but that applied to the 11, 12, or 13 because they all used the same sensor. And I concluded that I liked the GoPro better because I felt the image quality was better, the colors were better. The DJI was too much HDR, and I didn't like the image coming straight out of the camera. However, I'm going to give it another shot. So I picked up another one. The other DJI I returned to B&H Photo because I was coming up to my 30-day window of being able to return it. And I just didn't have enough time with the camera, so I picked up another one from Best Buy. So, like I said in the first video, this one's sponsored by me. No one's paying me to make this video. Here's what I'm going to do. So, when I tested the DJI, and this is the proof, I just bought it. I did not use the log profile. And the reason why I really want the DJI to work for me is because of this guy right here. This little microphone is the absolute best option to get really good audio. And I even like the audio better from the DJI, even when I use the foam windscreen, which I always do on the GoPro. I never use wind reduction mode on an action camera. It's terrible. Add in this mic whenever the opportunity presents itself, vlogging, even riding. I do a lot of bike reviews where I'm talking. And so I really like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot in the D-Log-M profile. It adds a little step to my workflow, but honestly, in DaVinci Resolve, it's pretty easy. So I downloaded the LUT from DJI. All I have to do is put the LUT on the videos, the clips, and I get a better, I think I'm going to get a better picture. So this is 10-bit color when you shoot in log. So I'm going to test it. I'm going to show you mainly biking stuff. Now I'll do a little bit of log stuff just to test it. Anyway, that's my intro to this video. So I'm going to go out and test, and let's see how these compare. So here's a section where I'm going to test the stabilization. It's really short, but it's fairly rooty, and I'm on a hardtail, so I get bounced around quite a bit. I did it a week ago and forgot to put the stabilization in sport. I had it in daily and it got moved around a lot. I'm gonna try it again here. See how it is. Got a lot more roots than you can see in the video. I hope that's better, because it was pretty bad when I tested a week ago. I'm going to repeat this short bumpy downhill using the GoPro. Same bike, same lighting situations. Going back and looking at the DJI footage, I had some jitters in the video. We're going to see if that happens with the GoPro. I'm shooting in vivid color. Let's see how it does. Definitely get bounced around on this hardtail. All right, that was short, but it will show me how this thing does. So for all of these stabilization tests, I'm keeping it on Rock Steady, not Rock Steady Plus, because that just crops in way too much. There's a bumpy section. Not quite as bumpy as Conquistador, but still bumpy. I've got all my settings the same, except for now I'm using the DJI external microphone. I'm just gonna see how the audio is. This is a fairly flat section, but just focusing right now on the audio. I've noticed there is a slight delay. Like there's like a chirping noise that happens when you turn on the camera when the microphone is already on. I just use one touch recording. You know, just keep the camera off, hit the record button. It's like it has to connect to the microphone for a couple seconds. After you get that little chirping noise, you're good to go, but you do gotta wait a few seconds before you start talking. Anyway, just wanna see what the quality is, because if the quality is not that much better, definitely easier to use the foam windscreen. I'm going back to 10-bit color. Everything's the same. Foam windscreen, active stabilization, but not shooting in log anymore. Less light. Still not dark, it's just not the bright sunny midday sun. About 40 minutes from sunset. So now I'm shooting in GoPro log. I just want to kind of see what this looks like compared to the DJI. So this is log and this is color corrected. I'm using the standard GoPro LUT that I downloaded from my camera. Just kind of seeing how this looks. I'm shooting everything in super view, by the way. That is my preferred view for GoPro. I don't go hyper view, it's just too distorted on the sides. It's already distorted enough with super view. I don't think shooting in log is gonna be any different for stabilization, but here's a short little downhill. Not as bumpy as the one I just did before. Man, there's so much debris everywhere from the hurricane. Hurricanes, I should say, plural. I'm gonna try one last thing with the GoPro, and that is shooting HDR. I usually don't. It's been a long time since I've used this. Kind of want to see what it looks like. Compare it to the DJI standard 10-bit, because that's always HDR. You can't turn it off. At least on the GoPro, you have the choice. We're going to wrap this up with a little bit of vlogging, because I think action cameras make incredible vlog cameras because of their size, a front-facing screen, all that. But I'm going to use this opportunity to talk about the biggest downside to the DJI Action 5. And it's literally something I've never heard anybody on YouTube mention. And it's the fact that you have to choose between a really good field of view and good stabilization, really good stabilization. And by the way, I'm on the Action 5. I'm using just a standard microphone. I'm not using the wireless mic yet. We're going to switch to that to get an idea. So this is the DJI shooting in log, then I'm going to color grade it. So you're seeing the color graded version of this. So here's the deal, is Rock Steady, not Rock Steady Plus, is too shaky for me on some sections. Now, I did use this camera up in the mountains and did some pretty fast downhills, and it was fine with Rock Steady, but there are situations where I just get too many jitters. And on that hardtail with a lot of roots on a downhill, you saw that very first stabilization test that I did, there were too many jitters in the video. And if I put it on Rock Steady Plus, personally for me, it just crops in way too much. So let's switch over, by the way, to the wireless microphone just to get an idea of the difference. So this is the wireless microphone, and this is why I really want the DJI to work for me, but that crop in the field of view, I just don't like it. Like I would not shoot a mountain bike video like that. So again, this is the wireless microphone. Great option. And I've heard when you pair this to another camera, it's not as good because the native connection between the Action 5 and this microphone is better than if you just paired it to like an Insta360 or a GoPro or even a phone. So I really like this option. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, before I put this thing on a tripod and show you how bad it crops in, now let's switch over to the GoPro. So this is the GoPro, using it how I would normally use it, and that is not shooting in log and using vivid color, because it just helps the workflow go a lot faster. So here's the advantage of the GoPro, and by the way, I'm using like a standard view. I'm not using a wide view on these vlogs. This is how I do it. I just love using action cameras for vlogging. But here's the deals with the GoPro. You've got great stabilization and a really wide field of view. By the way, there is a FOV boost setting now on the Action 5 cameras. Don't use it. It is terrible unless you just want to test your Dramamine, because the sides are moving all around. So you have to go into settings to find it, but it really is terrible. So that's not an option. You know, I still haven't decided which one I want to keep. It's probably going to be the GoPro still, but I hate taking cameras back. Like I don't normally do that. I don't like to return stuff, but let's do one little test here where I put the Action 5 on the tripod, and we'll go from Rocksteady to Rocksteady Plus, and I'll show you how bad it crops in. So this is Rocksteady Ultra Wide, and now I'm going to switch over to Rocksteady Plus, keeping everything else the same. And this is Rocksteady Plus. For some of you, it might be fine. For me, this is too narrow for mountain biking. I like the video to be wider. It's just more engaging when I'm using a chest mount. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this second comparison of the DJI Action 5 and the GoPro. So any questions or comments, drop those below. Let me know what your thoughts are on these comparisons. What do you think? Have you used these, and have you been frustrated with the stabilization and field of view choices with the Action 5? Nobody has said it. I've never heard anybody say it on YouTube. So if you've experienced it, please let me know. All right, I'll catch you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so for all kinds of videos related to mountain biking and gravel riding. Thanks for watching.